Hi guys, today we're going to discuss Cambridge Assessment International Education past paper, Science, page 9, is paper 2 from the year 2022. This is Cambridge Lower Secondary Progression Test. First, we'll scroll all over the question, so you may take a screenshot of this past paper if you like to and pause this video for a while. You can save the file after you screenshot and do on your own, and after that we'll see the discussion together. This is question number 1. This is question of 1A. This is 1B and C. This is 1C question, and the mark is 2. This is question 2A. Question B. This is question B. This is the question. Part 1. This is question 2B part 1. This is part 2. Next is question number 3A, and then 3B, followed by this B part 1, part 2, and B part 3. Question 4AB, B part 1, and B part 2. Next is question B part 3. This is B part 3, and B part 4, and question C. So this is question 4C. 4C. Next is question number 5. Make it smaller. This is 5, and this is question A, part 1, part 2, and 5B. 5A, part 1, 2, and B. Next is question number 6A and B. Question C, 6C. And we'll move on to question number 7. This is question number 7. Question number 8, part A and B. Question number 8B and A. Question number 8C. Move on to question number 9. This is question number 9A and 9B and 9C. This is question number 10. A part 1, A part 2. This is question 10B. This is question 11. A, and this is question 11B, and this is the periodic table, the last page. Now let's scroll to the front and start the discussion. While you may pause this video and do on your own first. So let's get started now from number 1. Question 1, look at the diagram. It shows the human excretory or renal system. This is a renal vein. This is the kidney. And renal artery. And this is ureter, bladder, and urethra. This one. Let's see the question. A. Look at the table. about what happens in different parts of excretory or renal system. Complete the table. The first row has been done for you. This is question A. Fill the table for question number 1. Look at the table about what happens in different parts of excretory or renal system. Complete the table. The renal artery, what happens? Blood enters excretory renal system. So from renal artery, blood enters the system. So from renal artery, the blood enters the kidney, and in kidney, what happens is extra fluid and waste is being removed. So we type what happens here. Remove waste and extra fluid from blood. Now next is which part where urine travels through this tube to be stored. So to be stored is in gallbladder. So which part is? So we type a ureter where urine travels through this tube to be stored. This is the ureter, and stored in bladder. So the part is bladder where urine is stored here before excretion from body. This is bladder. Right, we are done with the table. Now we move on. Question B. Kidney failure causes a buildup of toxic substance in the blood. Kidney failure causes a buildup of toxic substance in the blood. Write down the name of this toxic substance. So it will be urea. So is urea. You can see artificial kidneys prevent the buildup of toxic substances in the blood. Artificial kidneys use a process called dialysis. Look at the diagram of an artificial kidney. Blood in, and then dialysing solution in, partially permeable membrane, dialysing solution and toxic substance out, and blood coming out. So use the model to describe how dialysis works to mark here. So we can type urea, move across partially permeable membrane. Urea, the blood in, contain high level of urea. Now from the blood to the dialysing solution by diffusion. If the patient's blood is too low in ions, they will diffuse from dialysing solution into the blood. And if the patient's blood is too high in ions, the excess ion will diffuse from the blood to the dialysing solution, restoring the ideal level in the blood. So we hope this answer is clear. If you have any question, please feel free to write in the comment section in Susan here YouTube channel. Question 2. Look at the diagram. It shows different sounds traces on an oscilloscope. Complete the sentences to describe what is happening to the sound A from A to B. Choose from the list. So we can see here the wavelength is getting shorter. From like this, now it becomes shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. It means from top to bottom, the frequency increases. So the loudness relate to amplitude. So we see the amplitude. We take the middle line. So this is the middle line. We don't see that there's a change in amplitude, as the distance from the middle line to the crest is pretty much the same, I can say. So to say that it stays the same, this one, and the frequency is increasing. So this is our answer. Next question. Question B, the question is about combining sound waveforms. The diagram shows two waveforms, wave 1 and wave 2, that combine together. It also shows the new waveform made. See, wave 1 combined with wave 2, and this is wave 1 plus wave 2. Now see the question? We see that wave 1 and wave 2, they are in phase. It means crest is overlapping with the crest and the trough is overlapping with the trough. So when we add wave 1 and wave 2, there will be higher, the amplitude will be the addition of wave 1 with wave 2. So write down the word that describe how wave 1 and wave 2 combine together. So the term will be constructive interference. So constructive interference is when two waves coincide with peaks and trough matching. They are said to be in phase and the amplitude is double. While destructive interference is two waves coincide with peak of one meeting the trough of the others and they are said to be out of phase. Now, if two waves that are exactly out of phase, they will interfere destructively to produce zero amplitude. So this one we will type down a constructive interference. So this is our answer, constructive interference, while the second one, two more waveform, wave 3 and 4, combined together, we see this is the crest and overlapping with the trough. So trough with the crest, crest with the trough. So it's the opposite. So they will cancel out each other. So when wave 3 and wave 4, it will be just no wave. So we call this as destructive interference. Okay, next. Question 3, look at the diagram. They show the electronic structures of a sodium atom and of a sodium ion. This is sodium atom with the valence electron 1 in here, and sodium ion positive charge +1, where the 1 valence electron has been released. That's why it has positive charge. Can I describe how a sodium ion is made from a sodium atom? So here we go, we type down sodium ion is obtained from sodium atom by releasing 1 valence electron. So this particular electron, this one, has been released. Next. Question B, look at the diagram. It shows the structures of sodium chloride. Write down the name of the type of bonding in sodium chloride. So this is positive ion and negative ion. It will be ionic bond. The bonding between sodium ion and chloride ion is strong. So how do we explain why positive and negative ion, they are opposite charge? Between opposite charges, there is a force of attraction between negative and positive ion, that is electrostatic forces. Let's type down that answer. So our answer in here is ionic bonding. The bonding is strong because sodium ions and chloride ions have opposite charges, which attract them together with strong electrostatic forces. Next, we are in part 3. Sodium chloride has a giant structure. Circle the melting point of sodium chloride. So giant structures, it means the melting point will be so much high, so it will be 108 degree, 801 degree. It must not be below 100. So that will be our answer. Now we are in question 4. This question is about tectonic plates. Tectonic plates float on molten magma in the mantle. Write down the name of the layer of the earth made of tectonic plates. So the name of the layer of the earth made of tectonic plates is, our earth is divided into 3 layers, crust, mantle, and core. So since tectonic plates floating on mantle, so it must be the crust, the upper layer. So that will be our answer. So we type down our answer is the crust. Next, we go to 4A part 2. Explain why tectonic plates float on the mantle. So the reason an object can float is because its density is lower than the mantle. So we type down that answer. So tectonic plates have lower density compared to molten magma in the mantle. Question B, Urey models what happened at the boundary between 2 tectonic plates. Look at the diagram of a Urey's model. Large piece of biscuit cooking oil in dish, candle to heat up the oil, cups at the stand. Each large piece of biscuit models a tectonic plate. The large pieces of biscuit float on the cooking oil, so this must be resemble the mantle. Which part of the earth does the lighted candle in the model represent? So the hot part will be the core. So let's type down. So it's the core. Next. So this is the core part, inner core, outer core. So next question, predict what will happen to the pieces of biscuit. Explain your answer. So since this is heated up, the cooking oil, there will be convection current in here, and the large pieces of biscuits, these two, will move because of convection current, will float and move to one side, and they might collide with each other. So let's type down that answer. So they will move towards each other and collide. The explanation is the lighted candle will heat up the oil. So our reason will be the lighted candle will heat up the oil and create convection current. This will bring the two large pieces of biscuit closer and then they will collide. That will be our prediction. Now let's continue to the next number. Part 3, the map shows the positions of earthquakes on the Earth's surface. Explain how the positions of earthquakes are used as evidence of tectonic plates. So, evidence for tectonic plates. So these are the dots that show where the earthquake has happened. You see that this is where the border of the tectonic plate is, the pattern of the tectonic plates. So we have got 2 marks to explain. The first point, we can say earthquakes should be located where plates collide or rub or separate again each other. Next, the map shows that from all the earthquakes recorded over time, almost all of them occurs along plate boundary. This is the plate boundary. Now question B, part 4. Write down 2 other features that are used as evidence for tectonic plates. Well, if we see from the map of the whole continent, major continent can be fit together like a puzzle. That this one can fit to here. So that is the evidence for tectonic plates. And also the second one, location of rock and fossils all match up. So we type down. Here we go. Major continent can be fit together in a jigsaw process, and location of rock types and fossils all match up. Now in question 4c, there have been 5 times in the Earth history when most of the organisms living became extinct. This is called a mass extinction. Scientists think that enormous volcanic eruption caused this mass extinction. Explain why. Here's one of the possible answer. Enormous volcanic activity can cause significant global environmental change and climate change that cause mass extinction. Let's move on to next. Question 5. Priya finds some information about the effect of smoking on fetal development. So, effect of smoking on fetal development. Look at the graph. It shows the birth mass of 16 baby from non-smokers and 16 baby born to smokers. This is the time period between fertilization of an egg and the birth of a baby. So, gestation period in weeks and birth mass in kilogram. The dot is for non-smoker baby and the cross is for smokers baby. Look at the birth masses for a gestation period of 36 weeks. One of the birth masses is anomalous. So one of it is anomalous. So We see the patterns. All the non-smoker is higher than the smokers, and but this one in here, there is the one smoker's baby, uh, pretty much higher than the group in 36 weeks. So this must be the anomalous birth mass. So suggest one possible conclusion from the data. So we can see here that all the birth mass in non-smoker is overall higher than the smoker. So let's type down the answer. So we type down birth mass of babies born to non-smoker are higher than those born to smokers. Next question. Describe one way the evidence collected could be made more reliable. So to prove the reliable of experiment, we can try with a different group of people to compare the results. So we type down the answer. Repeat an experiment with a different group of people. So repeat the experiment with a different group of people. Right, next, move on to next question. Now we're on question 6. Question 6 says, look at the information about group 1 elements. Sodium, potassium, and rubidium. Melting point is this one, and boiling point. Lithium is above sodium in the periodic table. So lithium is above sodium in the periodic table. Predict the melting point of lithium. We can predict here lithium is above sodium, and the melting point will be here. So if you see the pattern, this is around 40 to 60, so around 20, 20, 25, and it's around 434, so this must be a bit higher. And lithium is a much smaller radius compared to the others, so the strong electrostatic forces between the positive nucleus and the sea of electron, because this is metal. So this one we can say is times 2, this one is times 1.5. So we try to times this with we try times 2, will be 196. So that will be our prediction, 196 degrees Celsius. Cesium in below rubidium in the periodic table. Cesium is here, and then predict the boiling point. Boiling point, you can see that it's decreasing. Let's check the pattern. So we see that here is decreasing and decreasing by 120, around 120. And this is from here to here is minus by around 70. Then we will predict this by from here to here is 50. So 70 minus 50 is minus 20. So we minus 20 from here. 688 minus 20 is 668. So we write down 668. Now let's check out the real melting point of lithium and cesium from the data. Well, what we got is boiling point 671, so it's not far from our prediction, and lithium is 181. So at around the real value, it should be correct. 196 and 668. Next question, part C. Which of the 3 elements in the table is most reactive? So we know that in group 1, as we go down the group, it is more reactive. So The answer should be rubidium. Out of this three, rubidium. So this is our answer. Next, question 7. Aiko is in a hot room. She starts to produce perspiration to on her skin. Perspiration is a watery liquid. The perspiration helps Aiko to control her body temperature. Complete the sentences to explain why. How? Choose from the list. The water in the perspiration begins to evaporate will be the answer. During this process, the water absorbs the heat from the body. Heat is a thermal energy. The temperature of the skin now decreases. So let's get the answer. So we go. Evaporate, thermal, and decreases. Next, question 8. The question is about inheritance in humans. Reproduction is important for survival of the species. A fertilized human egg contains 46 chromosomes. How many chromosomes are there in a sperm cell? So a fertilized egg is a diploid, mean a combination from sperm cells and egg cells. So if it's the diploid is 46, the sex cell is half of it, so 23 for sperm and 23 for egg cells. So when it combined to 46, so how many chromosomes are there? It's 23. Explain your answer. A sperm cell contains half of the total chromosomes, 23, as it joins with an egg cell with half of the total chromosomes, also 23, to form 46 chromosomes. Question B. Human sperm production is damaged by temperature 2 degrees above normal body temperature. This could affect the survival of human species. Just how an increase in the temperature of environment affects the ability of humans to reproduce. Here's an example of a correct answer. In human reproduction, a sperm cells join with an egg cell to form a zygote. Temperature increase could damage the sperm production and its ability to fertilize an egg cells. Thus could affect the survival of human species. Question C. Write down the word that describe the total number of individuals of the same species. So it is population or population number. Next. Question 9. Chen investigates the rate of reaction between calcium carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid. Look at the word equation for the reaction. Calcium carbonate plus hydrochloric acid produce calcium chloride, carbon dioxide, and water. Look at the equipment Chen uses. Dilute hydrochloric acid and conical glass wool plug, balance, and calcium carbonate powder. Predict what happens to the mass reading on the balance during reaction. As the reaction produces a gas, the gas may escape through the glass wool plug as it's not tight. So that will be the reason the mass will decrease as carbon dioxide gas escape to the air. Alright, it will decrease during reaction. The mass, the reaction between hydrochloric acid and calcium carbonate produce carbon dioxide gas that will escape to the air. Next. And find that the rate of reaction is greater when he uses powdered calcium carbonate rather than lumps of calcium carbonate. Explain why using the particle model. So we just draw this lumps. This is a powder in blue. Lumps of calcium carbonate has less surface area and are exposed to the hydrochloric acid particles. So less. So the surface area that exposed to the hydrochloric acid, we can see that the surface area is only around the outer side. That less surface area that can be exposed to the hydrochloric acid, while the powder one is small particles and can be surrounded by many hydrochloric acid. So greater surface area are exposed to hydrochloric acid and the rate reaction increases. Next question C. Describe one safety precaution Chen must take during this investigation. Well, since the reaction is using an acid, it has to be treated with care, so because acid can irritate or damage skin. So let's type down our answer. acid can irritate skin. The
safety precaution. So the one safety precaution is wear safety gloves. Why? Because acid can irritate skin. That is why he must wear safety gloves. Next, question 10. Angelic wants to measure the current and voltage in the circuit. Look at the diagram. Angelic measure the current using an ammeter. Draw the position of ammeter on the circuit diagram. Use correct symbol for ammeter. So ammeter should be drawn a series with the bulb. And Angelic measure the voltage across the lamp using voltmeter. Draw position of voltmeter on the circuit diagram. Use correct symbol for voltmeter. Voltmeter should be drawn parallel to the bulb. Here we go. This is our pictures, ammeter and voltmeter. Next. Question part 2, Angelic measures. Question part B, Angelic builds another circuit. Describe what happens to the current in a circuit at point A. So at point A, then this is a parallel. So it will be divided, the current, into here and here. So this is the source. It will be divided into two branches. Let's type down the answer. The current splits into two different branches. Now in question 11, Hassan investigates if object floats or sinks when placed in cooking oil. This is cooking oil. This is all the different material. And look at the table of density. You can see that cooking oil is 0.9 and brick is 2.1. That's why the one in its greater density is sinking, and the one that is less or equals like ice 0.9, it will float. Okay, next, the question. Hassan uses diagram and data in the table to make a hypothesis about which objects float and which objects sink in cooking oil. He wants to link the density of an object to if it floats or sinks in the cooking oil. Suggests the hypothesis Hassan makes. So we can say that an object with density greater than density of cooking oil will sink, and an object with density equal or smaller than density of cooking oil will float. Question B. Hassan investigates if object made of plastic of different density will float in water. Describe his investigation. So first, object made of different plastic. He has to collect plastic object with different density, measure each of their mass and volume to find their density, because density equals to mass over volume, and put the plastic object in the container filled with water and observe if they will float or sink. So that will be the idea. So this is the periodic table. Now let's go over top. So you may take a screenshot of the answer if you would like to. So this is the answer for number 1A. Answer for number 1B, 1C, and number 2A, 2A, 2B, part 1, 2B, part 2, and number 3A, 3B, part 1, part 2, part 3, and number 4A and 4B, part 1 and 2. Next is part 3, B, part 4, and 4C, and number 5, 5A, B, and number 6A, B, C, and continue by number 7, and then number 8A, 8B, and 8C, and 9, 9A, 9B, and 9C, and 10A, part 1 and 2, 10B, and then followed by 11, 11A,
11B, and then that's it. So they will study the question for science progression test. The past paper code is S/S9/02 as science progression test, and past paper 2022 paper 2. All question is solved is from Cambridge lower secondary stage 9. Check link in the description for other useful videos, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you'll be the first to be notified when we release our latest updates. Like and share to anybody who might need this. Check link in the description. Click this button on the right bottom corner of this video. You see all of our useful links for subscription, and is free. Today's discussion is conducted by Study with Tuition Online. We cater for all the subject and program. Please email us if you have any unsolved past paper, or if you are interested to join with our online one-to-one tuition with affordable price. Subscribe and ring the bell, don't forget, and write down in any if you have any advice, input, idea, question in the comment section in Susan Lira YouTube channel. Bye bye, and see you in the next video. God bless you. I hope today's discussion will be helpful to you.